Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start the final block, final session of our conference. It's the 7th session called Workshop in the Area of Research, Development and Education. I would like to remind you of the Slido that you can use for your questions and comments. The hashtag is 4092216, and let me invite on stage Mr. Jan Novotný, Associate Professor of the Institute of Machines and Energy from the Evangelista Purkyně University in Ústí nad Labem. Mr. Novotný, the mic and the clicker are ready for you here. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me present the work in the area of hydrogen at the Mechanical Engineering Department of our university. Our department is one of the youngest departments at the university, and actually one of the youngest departments of mechanical engineering in the Czech Republic. We have some bachelor curricula and also some master's degree programs. We basically focus on material research, on modern measurement methods, on renewable energy and numerical simulations. We have got very modern laboratories. We try to improve both the numerical methods but also experimental research. In research, we focus on methods of measurement of liquids. You can see specific results of our work on the slide. Recently, we have tried to include also hydrogen technologies. You can see one of the hydrogen stations that we operate. You can see it in the left upper corner. What is it about? Last year we purchased a very simple testing station for measuring fuel cells with an open cathode. Using this station, we are able to measure smaller containers with a maximum power of 2 kilowatts. What is important is that we not only purchased the station to be able to test it, but we also try to improve the station so that we can focus on optimum management of the entire process. What you can see is the curve of usage or the load of the station, and that's what we are trying to improve in the management. Generally speaking, the thermal management is something that is highly important for fuel cells. This is the area of our attention. We do not only focus on fuel cells, we also want to focus on other areas. What you can see here is the concept and the manufacturing of a research electrolyzer. Unfortunately, it's not ready yet. What we are trying to improve is the gas diffusion layer. This part of the electrolyzer that can be bought somewhere at eBay or at other suppliers, but we would like to get the know-how about this technology. There are some additive technologies that work in this membrane technology. We try to produce this by the 3D technology. So you can see that the surface is yellow. This is because of the titanium technology. If there is a future opportunity, we hope that this electrolyzer will be in operation in about a month, and we will make a follow-up research on this. You can see some holes in the plastic glass, and this is because we need to have a look at the entire system so that we can make some numerical simulations. These are the main highlights of our activity in the area of hydrogen. And where do we want to move in the upcoming years? I need to change the slide, but I have some technical problems. We have a project of the GET Center web, which is one of the strategic projects of the Ústí region. Within this project, we try to extend the existing infrastructure that focuses on hydrogen, its technologies, but also on other progressive technologies that could be used when designing and building the fuel cells and electrolyzers. We have several partners, and we would like to build a comprehensively oriented workplace that would use experts from R&D and education from this particular region. We don't want them to leave for Prague. And this center should transfer the experience and know-how between university and our partners. A great driver for us is the need to innovate our educational programs and to modernize our workplaces. Unfortunately, the university cannot afford to provide large support. We cannot do the project alone, that's why we have several partners with which we want to cooperate in this project. This is the scope of the project prepared. There are three main pillars. One of them is education of new energy experts. I have already mentioned the innovations of the existing energy programs, but also a preparation of the new PhD program in renewable energy. The next pillar is research and development. We cooperate with the Department of Environment and the university, and we would like to attract know-how about hydrogen to the Ústí region with the contribution of our partners. And then there are two pilot projects. One of them is the newly extended laboratory complex in the street Zavalcovnou. We would like to enlarge our area by about 2,000 square meters and to build a large building for research in hydrogen technologies. We would like to make a research in the consumption of hydrogen as well. And the second project is Power to Hydrogen, where we want to simulate and test using photovoltaics in connection with electrolyzers, and also the use of areas that are intended for hydric technology. We would like to test this technology and then possibly implement some new projects. What is the expert scope of our center? It's not only the power to X systems with accumulation of energy and biomass, but also hydrogen capture and usage for transport and the energy sector. We want to get more experience and knowledge in increasing the efficiency and in using advanced methods and cutting-edge coatings to be able to prevent degradation of materials. So this is an area where we focus on the micro coatings and nano coatings for specific aggressive environment. The next activity is the Center of Hydrogen Technologies in the complex Zavalcovno. You can see the ground floor of the building on slide, and we would like to enlarge this building to make it bigger by 2 stories. This would bring us another 2,000 square meters of floor area, and we would have new laboratories in this building. We don't want these laboratories to be independent, but this entire building is a pilot project for the use of hydrogen and renewable sources of energy. So we want to use photovoltaic panels on the roof. We also discuss the heating system. We have proposed the use of underground bores, and we would like to use the heat for cooling the building. We would like to store it in the underground bores. In winter, there will be enough heat. Underground, there will also be hydrogen batteries. This means that we will not have to buy hydrogen, which will be probably expensive. It's not only about hydrogen technologies, but the project also involves a purchase of high-quality 3D printers for some of the coating technologies. When you want to have something from titanium printed in the Czech Republic, you will probably see that no one is able to do it, and you will have to order this in Germany, and it takes 1 or 2 months before you get a sample. When someone prints something in the Czech Republic, it's mainly done from metal, and you can't wait 3 months for a prototype. We want to make a research in these technologies as well. So this is an area of our interest. Another pilot project is a project of our partner, 7 Energy. It is the testing of use of the floating photovoltaic power plants in an area of hydric recultivation. There are photovoltaic panels as well as an electrolyzer, and you have a traditional photovoltaic power plant. The project also involves some production of hydrogen, but it's much bigger than what we have in our own building. This would allow us to go from kilowatts to megawatts, or ideally to dozens or thousands of megawatts. But this is a smaller pilot project which may be of great importance. I would like to thank you for your attention. And this is a detail of our porous layers made of titanium.
There are 2 short questions. The first one is, can you imagine, or are you planning in your institution to have specifically intended programs for hydrogen at your university? Regarding specific programs at our university, next to this program that I mentioned is our goal, the innovation of the existing programs with focus on renewable energy sources and using hydrogen for fuel cells. Not just at this moment, it's a bit wider than this, but we want to focus on those plans in our project as well, yes. And how do you consider to use fuel cells for heating? Well, in our building now, we decided so that there is an electrolyzer of 15 kilowatt and a fuel cell of 25 kilowatt, and they should be connected to use waste heat for heating of a potential building, so that it does not work as a direct source, but as a reserve source of energy. Thank you very much. I would like to ask the next colleague, Pavel Hrubeš, to the stage. He is the member of the Scientific Council of the Faculty of Transport at the Czech Technical University in Prague. Please join us, and the presentation is ready. Perfect. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I will be a bit briefer. I will stay on the general level and follow up on the presentation from Mr. Bozek yesterday. From the Technical University, me and my colleagues, we are interested to use hydrogen technologies. We are also present in this region as well, in Děčín. So we want to be present in this region and we want to cooperate with local organizations. I thought about this myself. When did I see hydrogen technologies for the first time? And I remember that in 2015 I was at the ITS Congress in Bordeaux, and a French startup presented a prototype of a hydrogen bicycle. So, just like Mr. Unucka mentioned, I went to Innotrans last week, and we can really compare in the past 7 years how the development evolved incredibly. And at that time, we presented such a simple device at Bordeaux, and now we see complex systems such as hydrogen trains and trams. So you can see the connected business to those systems. You can see the systems of piping producers, pumps producers, vents producers. So you see that the decision to choose hydrogen in business was not a question of the current crisis in Ukraine and current energy crisis. No. The opportunity in the energy sector and transport sector has been here for quite a long time, and now we see this opportunity to use those products. So from the point of view of university, our aim is to educate the public, and we have bachelor and master programs at the Faculty of Transport of the Czech Technical University in Prague. Of course, we want to integrate hydrogen technologies, and the point of view of the system in transport and integration of hydrogen vehicles as well as infrastructure in the general transport system is essential for us. We, of course, want to optimize the system. And the question is, what can we do ourselves to make this system more efficient, cheaper, more available, etc. So one path for us is the education that we provide. Of course, we want lifelong education, especially our branch in Děčín really wants to organize many educational activities and courses. And I believe that we have many opportunities in this respect. And then, of course, research and scientific activities. The speaker before me mentioned some specific problems that they work on. In my department, we want to get involved in projects, but we are not implementing any project yet. But this is connected to the time when the first hydrogen trains are going to run. We want to be there when it becomes true. And we want to be also a part of the lifelong cycle of those technologies. And of course, our activities also consist of studies and analyses. What would we like to achieve in terms of hydrogen technologies? In Děčín and in the development of green energy, I used to be a dean at the faculty, and I wanted to support this part of our activities. I believe that there is a possibility to establish laboratories for our students, and we would like to use the former station to keep, for example, a rail that we could use for testing, for research, for the university. So I believe something similar could happen when we still keep this agreement with the municipality of Děčín to use this space. At the same time, our colleagues are working on the development of electric motorcycles. Well, we won some student competitions in European Union. We saw this electric motorcycles that could use hydrogen. So exactly those labs that we would like to have would prepare the right conditions for testing such vehicles. And of course, we want to also be involved in international cooperation. And in Děčín, we are close to the Technical University in Chemnitz in Germany. And we had a common project for high schools and for playing with Formula Ones that are hydrogen powered. I would also like to thank my colleagues from research that they are really looking for new forms of cooperation and preparing new programs. So there will be further development in this area as well. So for my university, Czech Technical University in Prague, I would sum it up that we are present in the region of Děčín. We are happy to be here. And me as a dean, we would like to expand our activity in the region of Karlovy Vary as well. But well, I still believe that we are a good partner for this region, and we are happy to cooperate with the region. Thank you. Thank you. And the follow-up question is, can you see any room for development of cooperation of your university with newly emerging R&D capacities in Saxony? Definitely. I'm very happy that this is happening in the long term. My colleague is responsible for that in the Faculty of Transport in Děčín. We've been cooperating for the past 7 years. We will never do the basic research in hydrogen technologies. However, the research of integration within transportation systems, logistics, is very important for us. We investigate road transport, air transport, and we can feel the opportunity here to introduce this new way of energy-powered vehicles, and we can really evaluate where it makes sense to use those vehicles, under what conditions, in what cases. Thank you very much. I also would like to thank you.
The next speaker will take us from research to businesses. Let me invite Jiří Hájek, CEO of Orlen Unicre.
Prosím o prezentaci. Děkuju. Prosím, prostor je váš.
Výborně, dobrý den, dámy a pánové, dovolte mi, abych poděkoval teda všem, protože tady dneska takhle
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for still being with us in the afternoon. I hope that my presentation will be valuable for you. Let's move to the next slide. I'm not going to talk about what our colleagues within Orlen Unipetrol do. Let me only focus on development. Yesterday, you got the information regarding development, what we participate in as Orlen Unipetrol, not only in the Czech Republic, but also in the neighboring countries. The fourth point I would like to mention here is try to imagine that you have a refueling station, that you supply hydrogen, and there was an ambition to operate these refueling stations, and we think that we can help here, not only within the Orlen Unipetrol group, but we are ready to cooperate with any partners who want to distribute hydrogen in the Czech Republic. We want this service to be fully in compliance with Czech legislation, because supplying hydrogen is one thing, but it also needs to be compliant with Czech legislation. I would like to thank our colleagues because they created the first accredited laboratory for hydrogen in the Czech Republic that can not only analyze hydrogen, but in future we should also have an equipment that will allow us to take hydrogen gas from refueling stations. There are certain barriers, and not all solutions fully reflect the requirements of analytical companies that ensure and provide these services. We had many discussions at this conference. I very much appreciate what our colleagues from Devin and from Centers Holding do. We found specific solutions for hydrogen. If a regional center wants to present hydrogen as their solution, then we can help. To be able to have mobile hydrogen, you need trailers for hydrogen, but you also need to provide space where people will be able to use hydrogen-fueled vehicles. This is important not only for marketing, but also for development of hydrogen infrastructure and mobility. We wanted to develop a solution together with the Department of Mechanical Engineering, which would allow a pressure of up to 350 bars. This would be able for passenger transport, but also for bus transport. We also heard already about locomotives. I admire what Adam Georg achieved and what they can all do in their free time. I would like to thank our colleagues from Devin, CZ Loco, and also Adam, because the Czech Republic came with its own solution for rail transport. This is important because we are not dependent only on solutions of others. This is a real project that helps us use the experience and know-how that we have in the Czech Republic, and this brought the project to life. It's possible that it will not be viable in the long term because the project is working in a pilot mode in Poland. However, this type of project is also part of the portfolio of projects that we focus on. Low-emission hydrogen as a solution for mobility, for transport and the energy sector. You may think that this is not a strategic project for this particular region, but for us it is a strategic project, at least for development of our business. Again, I would like to thank my colleagues from the energy sector, especially Míra, who work on development of hydrogen electrolyzers in the area of the Ústí region. It's true that all of this needs to be interconnected with the existing systems. What we are currently missing, and it has been said by Mr. Farkács, is the know-how and availability of green energy. Green energy is indispensable for the production of green hydrogen in the Czech Republic and for its use in industry, transport, manufacturing, or elsewhere. If you look at the complex, we are able to absorb 90 kilotons of hydrogen per year. Just to give you an idea, this hydrogen is used for hydrogenic refining or cracking of oil derivatives, and it's also used for cleaning of polymers in the Czech Republic. If we say that this grey hydrogen is no longer available, that it shouldn't be used anymore, then it would mean that we have to replace 90 kilotons of grey hydrogen from other sources. Mr. Farkács told us how the production of hydrogen will look like in the Green Mine project. So this is an idea for you of how many projects like this we would need to replace this production. The barrier is, of course, the source of this renewable energy, and I welcome all of the initiatives contributing to the reduction of dependence of the Czech Republic on fossil fuels. We would like the Czech Republic to have its own energy that will come from low-emission sources. There is a project in South Bohemia, and we hope that our company will use small modular reactors in future to be able to reduce the carbon footprint of our products. And Mr. Mervat provided some clear signals for us, and we can perceive this as one of the major directions for us. We also heard that the Czech Republic doesn't have a coastline, which means that it doesn't have an access to wind power plants like it is in Germany or the Netherlands. The Czech Republic cannot produce low carbon or renewable energy. It's not like in Africa. We are aware of the fact that the Ústí region has made some attempts in this direction. For example, Litoměřice, Roudnice, the use of geothermal energy. Not all regions have such opportunities for the use of geothermal energy. Why is that? It's because the rock takes the heat from the core of the earth to the surface, and the Ústí region has optimum conditions. We also discuss the possibility to use underground bores. What we expect is that we will soon arrive at a solution and we would like to implement a pilot project for the use of 150 megawatts of renewable energy. So much for my presentation. Let me repeat once again that this is not a product of one person. This is a product of a large number of people focusing on this in Orlen Unipetrol and Orlen Unicare. I would like to thank my colleague who helped me prepare this presentation. I appreciate his patience and his willingness to participate in this type of projects, and I'm sure that there will be more and more projects to come. If we don't have hydrogen, and if we don't have fossil fuels, then we will not have many alternative solutions for transportation and for other industries. Thank you very much. Thank you. 2 questions. Do you plan to develop not only your fleet, but also public transportation or freight transport using hydrogen? So can it go beyond the train that you have shown us? Yes, I have understood, thank you. No, this is not part of our current strategy, I must admit. Within the Unipetrol Transport Group, we believe that we will have this opportunity, and Mr. Purkyně has already outlined this. We want to concentrate on the Chem Park Litvinov and the neighboring CSA mine, which is the Green Mine project. We want to focus on the production of hydrogen and distribution. So in future, we might be the first company that will launch the first fleet of trucks using hydrogen trailers. Okay. And a question about people. This is a workshop about R&D. How hard is it for you to attract people? Where do you get the workforce with this specialization? Do you cooperate with universities? Well, it's not easy. All the people need to be motivated. In the Czech Republic, people talk a lot about energy sector decarbonization, but we also need a discussion about decarbonization of refineries and of the petrochemical industry. And we will need to attract many young, talented experts for this field as well. I believe that cooperation with universities, be it the University of Chemistry and Technology or the Czech Technical University or the UJAP University, or with other universities abroad, especially in Slovakia or in Poland, will be beneficial. We also cooperate with some universities in Germany. We also cooperate with colleagues from Asia, from Spain. So we try to work with all of the experts available and to train them in cooperation with the training center that we have in Litvinov and where we cooperate with the University of Chemistry and Technology. This was a presentation from Jiří Hájek. Thank you very much.
There are 2 presentations left, 2 last speakers. The first one is Lukáš Polák, the coordinator of innovation projects at the Department of Hydrogen Technology and Innovation in Institute for Nuclear Research in Řeš. Good afternoon. Thank you very much that I'm seeing many familiar faces. I hope that there are familiar faces online as well. I would like to introduce to you briefly the activities of our institute, and thank you to Aleš Laciok who presented our activities. And of course, there are many companies who are involved in hydrogen research and hydrogen management. And I think we need to delegate the tasks, we need to divide the tasks among us. We are focusing on smaller or medium-sized projects, but there were many research projects in our institute. The research has been going on for the past 15 years. Our institute plays a key role as a member or founding member of the Czech Hydrogen Technological Platform, and I'm not going to go into detail here. One of the main activities of the platform, next to the contacts of new members and institutions, is also the organization of the conference called Hydrogen Days. It's been the 13th conference this year in spring that was held. I'm going to show you a few pictures. We are the operator of 2 refueling stations. The older one was implemented in Neratovice in 2009 and it's still operating. There is a pressure of 350 bars, but it's still in operation, as I said, and here's just an example of refueling of vehicles of the first generation Mirai. And the station is being used by public as well, because there are already many hydrogen cars in the Czech Republic. So customers come to us as well to refuel. Even though the pressure is limited, the refueling station is still being used quite often. And maybe you saw the presentation of Gebrüder Weiss that presented a truck that also refueled at this station. So we saw that this station also fulfills the needs even for buses. And we heard about Inotrans, where there were many bus producers who presented their buses, and there was also a bus with a tank for up to 50 kilos of hydrogen there. So this bus can be refueled in Neratovice as well. I forgot one picture, but Josef Lexa mentioned the application that we can even refuel some prototype vehicles or any devices that need to be refueled with hydrogen. As I said, this refueling station is in a non-public and not accessible officially space, but it can be used by the public upon agreement. That's not a problem. Our Institute for Energy Accumulation in Hydrogen, well, this was a device with photovoltaic panels, which was launched in 2013, and we have an electrolyzer of 7 kilowatt that is able to store energy surplus with fuel cells retrospectively and produce energy. The development on this device was just the software to handle it. Otherwise, we use the elements that are available on the market. You have the scheme in front of you. What is interesting is that we also provided a container solution with a compressor to be able to refuel vehicles. So we have the second refueling hydrogen station now, and we can be connected via local network to a refueling point. So electric cars can be refueled without any problems. This is how the refueling station looks like. We cooperated with many partners, with many research institutions, especially with the Chemical University in Prague, and we heard that yesterday. This university is our oldest partner, and we implemented many projects together. But there are also other institutes as well. The Academy of Dynamics, company Devin, Tatra Trucks, and Technical Agency of the Czech Republic. The refueling station that It uses hydrogen that is produced from photovoltaics, uses the pressure of 350 bars, but we also prepared a study for new refueling stations, and we are able to upgrade the existing station up to 700 bars of refueling pressure. But unfortunately, it still does not make economic sense yet. This is just an example of the implementation. You can see the building in the background and you can see the vehicles in front of it, both hydrogen vehicles and electric vehicles that we operate. Then there are some ongoing projects. Together with Zebra Group, we developed a vehicle, a hydrogen vehicle with an extended driving range, a low emission or zero emission vehicle that's going to be very interesting for municipalities. And then you can see a small vehicle in the picture below, which is again with extended driving range, and it has 10 kilowatt and can really help in cities and towns for deliveries, for example. It would be very appropriate. And we are testing those two vehicles in Řeš because there is this refueling station. Well, there is not just passenger transport. We also are involved in freight transport and cooperate with Devin Tatra Trucks when developing this special truck. As you can see it here in the picture on the left, it's 8x8 special vehicle. And when it is fully loaded, it can carry up to 60 tons and reach a scale of 60% and can even be in operation on highways. We are in the final stage of the vehicle construction right now, and we ordered components, including the supply of fuel cell. And the fuel cell has 250 kilowatt for this vehicle. In spring next year, in the first stage, there will be a battery operation for this vehicle installed. And then in June or July, there will be fuel cells so that we can test this vehicle in the second half of 2023. The picture of the hydrogen train is not here just by accident. It is an international research project and we are a part of it. Next year, there should be a feasibility study implemented in this research project, which should concern regional railway tracks. Together with our partners, we developed methodology and selected appropriate tracks in the Czech Republic that haven't been electrified yet, where electrification does not make sense from the economic perspective. At this moment, there are 16 tracks, and we are processing the economic analysis. Its result should be 1 to 3 regional tracks that we will select and launch a pilot project for those selected tracks. I already presented Czech Hydrogen Technological Platform at the beginning of my presentation. It evolves very dynamically. Nowadays it has more than 70 members, and I hope I did not forget any logos of our partners here, because the platform is really developing very dynamically and there are new and new partners coming. So much for my presentation. There is still room left for questions. I hope I haven't forgotten anything. There are many other projects that we participate in. Thank you for your attention. I would like to ask you, you mentioned several times the partner Hyundai. We can see this vehicle in the pictures. It's standing in front of the building. what about a truck that's hydrogen powered and that would just unload goods in Alza, would refuel and go back? Can you see any room for freight transport or trucks, hydrogen trucks? But I heard that in Switzerland there are already hydrogen trucks, and you think that it's not feasible in the Czech Republic, or not yet. Is there anything that's lacking in the Czech Republic and that is present abroad? Absolutely. Josef Lexa mentioned that the heavier the truck is, the more it makes sense to use hydrogen power. When you talk to people who have experience with heavy vehicles, you will see that the battery mobility does not really make sense in the case of heavy vehicles. The same goes for train transport, for rail transport. And the requirements on refueling stations for freight transport are completely different from the requirements on public refueling stations for passenger cars. So even here there is infrastructure lacking, and we will have to construct this type of infrastructure, which is going to be very different from refueling stations for passenger cars. One more question: research and development of hydrogen. Can you see any new perspectives of new applications of hydrogen in the coming years, something that is just at the very beginning? Or have we covered everything today? Well, I mentioned the projects from the mobile sector, but regarding energy and energy accumulation, I thought of one application that I didn't present here, and it's the so-called power box, a mobile DC source. So there are some reserve sources of energy as a support for police or for the ambulance. So this can have a very broad use as a reserve source of energy. It could be used in the food industry, in chemical industry, and in the sector coupling, I really perceive this main area of use. However, the current energy crisis shows that in the first stage, we really need to focus on independence and hydrogen production. Thank you very much.
And before conclusion of the conference, let me invite again Daniel Minařík, chairman of the Moravian Silesian Hydrogen Cluster, for the last presentation. Let's look at some development activities. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Let me also use this opportunity to greet all those who follow us on stream. I'm sorry that I'm presenting again, but this is the last presentation that I will have here. Mr. Mišák should be instead of me, but because of other assignments, he asked me to step in. Let me be very brief, because the presentation is not mine, so I will guide you through the presentation prepared. What I would like to tell you in the area of R&D that is going on in Ostrava is this. During my morning presentation, I talked about history, and I told you that hydrogen within the EMET Center that is located in the Vítkovice district of Ostrava had an infrastructure that was ready for the testing activities. We could use dozens or hundreds of kilowatts for the testing activities. The concept evolved over time, of course. The mining university had a research institute called ANET, which focused on the hydrogen technologies, but it also had two independent research centers. The Institute of Environmental Technologies, which focused on laboratory applications, on waste management and the similar processes. And on the other hand, ANET was in the middle, and we also had an institute for research, for energy research. It was called VETS, and these three centers are now merged under the name of Center of Energy and Environmental Technologies. And they build up on their previous activities, and I will guide you through these activities and new projects of this center seat. Look at the projects of the center. Behind me you can see quite a rich and diverse scope of projects that were implemented. It ranges from cooperation with local stakeholders, the Moravian and Silesian region, preparation of hydrogen valleys, then a cooperation with the transportation company, cooperation with the private companies such as Veolia and others. In this case, the projects involved expert support, because universities should provide this type of support. However, there is an increasing number of projects in the area of regional cooperation, but also the highest possible global level of cooperation. As you can see, we cooperate with famous brands, especially in the area of using the experience at the global level. We cooperate on specific projects, for example, experimental technologies for vehicles or industrial applications. You can also check the references of our university. Let me tell another thing. Research activities in the Moravian Silesian region are not based only on the technology area. We also run a common concept called Refresh, which merges technology activities which come from the Ostrava University, but also social sciences. That's the Ostrava University, not the mining university. This is a technology forum which discusses specific issues. However, we also heard about one barrier. It was mentioned by the management of Ústí region, how to communicate the needs or the requirements of this transition and the deployment of hydrogen technologies in practical life. What should be the benefits and advantages for the population outside our technology bubble? We should always identify with our projects. The mascot of our infrastructure of the ANET Center, situated in Vítkovice, is WALL-E. The abbreviation of our center is CT, so it's an analogy, WALL-E and CT. And WALL-E focused on waste management. He didn't care about the final step, and CT wants to focus on this final step. From the perspective of applied research, we would like to focus on the use of hydrogen in transport and in the energy sector. As for the inputs, we use the know-how in the area of waste management. That is a technology of pyrolysis, which remains to be used in Enet in Vítkovice. The facility has about 400 kilowatts. Anyone interested in this technology or in cooperation with our center, for example, for the purposes of accreditation, are invited to come. However, pyrolysis has some limitations, especially in the area of post-processing and purification of hydrogen and its use. SEED wants to focus on the use of plasmatic split in this area. In the Czech Republic, we should further discuss where hydrogen can be used. And researchers should therefore focus on purification and on easy handling of hydrogen. Three main things. It's not possible to build infrastructure of this type that would be self-sufficient and at the highest standard. That's the main condition, of course, but three things are important. The technologies that are to be installed in these facilities should be scalable. This is the first stage. Research is very well established within the Báňská University, the mining university, and we are ready to deploy the technology in the field in the Ostrava region. This means using the technology in brownfields, especially in the Karviná area. The use of these technologies would be at the practical level. What is also interesting in the area of hardware is modeling of the processes. Our research center uses the so-called digital twin. All of the integrated technologies, be it at the level of project management or implementation of the technology, will have a digital twin. And the main condition is a projection of the entire project within the BIM, within the modeling stage. This will allow for the scale-up of the given technology. And what is most important is not what we are planning to do, but what has already started. I have 1 minute left. I would like to use this time and tell you about the principle of the plasmatic split. What does it mean? It's all about changing the temperature range that is used for the dissolution of the material. So in our case, it is PET or Tetra Pak. If you have combined materials, then the effect is the highest. And the final step should be as easy as possible in post-processing of hydrogen. You can have a look at this chart. It includes all of the outputs. That means all of the technologies that will be deployed from the hardware point of view in the research center. There are two levels. One of them is keeping the project alive. This means facilitation of the center, HR, and the individual technologies, both on the side of inputs, their modification, their processing, up to integration of, for example, the plasmatic split technology. And we also focus on similar scalable technologies. And the center is self-sufficient from the operational point of view. You should see a video in a while. I'll wait for the video. I hope it will work. And in the time that I have left, you can have a look at the visualization and the progress of works.
Když se pozorně podíváte, jenom taková vsuvka, jo? Tak dobře pozorujte.
Let me remind you what is behind the research center in which all of the hydrogen technologies that we have discussed will be used. Can you recognize it? It's a playground, children's playground. This is also one of the roles of universities to bring up the future talents since kindergarten, and the ANEP Center, focusing on hydrogen technologies, can say that everything has been tested on our children. Our projects also involve the safety and security aspect, of course. That's key for us.
Tady v podstatě můžete vidět, jak pak vypadá už
Here you can see how the scheme looks like in reality. This is the realistic rendering coming from BIM. So this is the documentation that is to a certain extent interactive and mentions the constructing element, and you can see also the energy flow, placement of networks and everything that would make you understand how to capture technology in time and space.
Tak jo, já si dovolím.
Okay, so let me conclude now, because I'm here for the very last time. Surprising, right? Not just today, but in the framework of the entire forum. Let me thank you on behalf of Moravian Silesian region. I would like to thank the region of Ústí, to Gabina and Karel for organizing this fantastic event, and we are very happy to be able to participate. Not just me, but all the speakers, all the other speakers as well. So I'm really happy that we know a little bit more about the development, where are the limitations of development, and I think it was a nice start of the real debate and discussion about the limitation, because such an event has been organized for the first time. And let's hope that we are going to meet again in September next year to open our new technology center. Well, we've discussed that this is not the last opportunity to meet, so I just hope that in 1 year I can invite you already to the next business forum in Ostrava. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you again. Goodbye. Thank you, Dan. We are not going to bother you with questions. The video was self-explanatory. So, of course, the invitation for next year, thank you for that. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for this blog and for the previous presentations after lunch. I'm going to say goodbye to you as well, and I pass the floor to Eva. Eva, could you join me and conclude this conference for the region of Ústí? I think the forum was very successful. We heard many interesting presentations, many interesting topics were explained. We identified some barriers, and I'm really grateful, and I hope that we are going to take those topics out of this room and continue working on them. I wish you all the best, and thank you for your participation. Enjoy the rest of the day. And of course, Eva has the floor. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just so full of energy thanks to Dan that I could keep on going for hours. No, don't worry. I would like to thank all the speakers, all the presenters, the entire organization, together with Gabriela and Tomáš, because you really made it possible. Gabriela and Karel, because you prepared the entire forum, and my goal is to increase the demand for buses from public sphere and, of course, increase the supplies of heating in public buildings. Those are my tasks that I take away from here. And I would also like to ask the Ministry of Industry and Trade to organize the next forum in Ostrava, but someone already decided this for me. So thank you for your attention, and I hope to see you in 1 year. Ladies and gentlemen, concluding remarks now. All the presentations will be on our website, and we can send them to you. Well, it's going to be on the website of Forum of the region of Ústí, H2 Forum. There will be all materials, there will be streams downloaded here, and I believe that the speakers will answer even the questions that we didn't answer here. So please continue with the networking, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.